China is currently the most populous country in the world and the fastest growing major economy in the world. It is also the second wealthiest nation in the world, as well as the largest manufacturer and exporter. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss about China's economy and its effects on global economy. But before we start, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any future videos. Now, without any delay, let's begin. China GDP. The People's Republic of China's economy is a growing market-oriented economy that integrates economic management through policy initiatives and 5-year strategic objectives. In a system characterized as a socialist market economy, the economy is dominated by state-owned companies and mixed ownership firms. But it also has a substantial domestic private sector and is open to international corporations. State-owned firms accounted for more than 60% of China's market capitalization in 2019 and produced 40% of China's GDP of $15.66 trillion in 2020, with the remaining 60% accounted for by domestic and international private businesses and investment. The total asset of all Chinese SOEs, including those in the banking sector, hit $78.08 trillion by the end of 2019. 91 of these SOEs are part of the 2020 Fortune Global 500. China is the world's second biggest economy by nominal GDP and the world's largest economy by purchasing power parity since 2014, which some economists believe is a more accurate estimate of an economy's real size. Since 2010, it has been the second biggest by nominal GDP, which figures based on shifting market exchange rates. According to government projections, China will overtake the United States as the world's largest economy in nominal GDP by 2030. China's position and rank in global economy. To obtain a comprehensive knowledge of the changes in the position and rank of China in the international economy during the last 3 decades, we must first grasp China's historical status and effect on the international economy. China dominated the international economy in terms of per capita wealth and technology in the 14th century. Bureaucracy governance was more efficient and cost-effective during this period than the intergovernance structures developed in Europe and Japan before their modernization initiatives. Furthermore, bureaucratic control was critical in encouraging agriculture during this period. However, by the 16th century, West Europe had begun to outspace China in terms of per capita income, technology, and science. Dominated by the fundamental notion of the Kingdom of Heaven, China's feudal rulers acquired an apathetic attitude towards innovation and progress in the outside world, and as a result lost the chance of exchanges and progress. During the span of 1840 to 1950, China's per capita income fell from 90% of the world average to 20% as a result of foreign invasion and civil war, inflicting massive losses on the Chinese economy and causing China's standing in the global economy to fall rapidly. China did not begin to recover until the People's Republic of China was established in 1949. Following this, China kept limited interaction with the outside world, particularly with the West, only until the Reform and Openness program was begun in 1978. China began to increase its interaction with the global economy and accelerate its economic development. A growing impact on the global economy as seen by China's share of global commerce expanding from 2.3% in 1983 to 5.4% in 1994, and then 12.8% in 2004. These statistics demonstrate that China has become an increasingly prominent player in the global economy. Fastest growing economy in the world. Prior to the start of economic reforms and trade liberalization over 4 decades ago, China adopted policies that kept the economy weak, unproductive, centrally managed, massively inefficient, and largely isolated from the world economy. In just 4 decades, China has risen from a poor developing country to significant economic power. From 1979 to 2017, China's real gross domestic product increased at a roughly 10% yearly pace. Since 1979, when it opened up to international commerce and investment and implemented free market reforms, China has been one of the fastest-growing economies in the world, with real annual GDP growth averaging 9.5% from 2008 to 2018, a rate defined by the World Bank's as the fastest continuous expansion by a major economy in history. Such development has allowed China to increase its GDP every 8 years on average, lifting an estimated 800 million out of poverty. China has surpassed the United States as the world's largest economy in terms of purchasing power parity, manufacturer, goods dealer, and holder of foreign exchange reserves. As a result, China has emerged as a key trading partner for the United States. The United States' greatest commercial partner and 3 largest export market are China. China is also the world's largest holder of U.S. Treasury bonds, which assist to sustain the federal government's debt and keep U.S. interest rates low. Effects of China's economy on other countries. The expansion of China's exports has both competitive and complementing consequences. Lower labor costs provide China's labor-intensive exports a competitive edge in the world's largest export markets, while increasing competitive pressure on nations exporting similar items. Furthermore, the massive domestic import demand resulting from China's fast economic expansion, as well as its desire for energy and raw resources, provides a great boost for exports from other nations. China's trade output has substantial network effects as a result of the emergence of an increasingly significant integrated region production process in Asia. Such an integrated approach has boosted exports from these nations to China, as well as overall exports to international markets. Except for some nations such as Mexico, China's economy has no substantial influence on business in Latin America and Africa. Nations with comparable exports structures to China have faced competitive pressure from China, but countries with similar import structures to China have seen complementing effects from China's economic development. In this regard, there are several empirical studies in the literature. Expansion of exports, countries with comparable exports to China will incur losses owing to China's competitive advantages, but countries with similar imports to China would profit from China's increased import demand. China's foreign direct investments effects. The likelihood of transfer or creation impacts of Chinese FDI on the FDI of other nations and areas is one of the most fully researched FDI issues. According to the research, China's FDI expansion does not have significant transfer effects on the other nations and regions. However, due to the development of an integrated regional production system in Asia, China's FDI expansion has spurred foreign investment in surrounding countries to create intermediate products and raw materials required for China's processing and manufacturing. As a result, there is a significant positive link between Chinese FDI and FDI in the area. In terms of Africa and Latin America, China's FDI expansion has had little influence. Because these areas' FDI is mostly resource-oriented, it has no significant substitution impacts with China's FDI. However, while assessing China's FDI issue, several studies failed to take crucial aspects of China's FDI into account. On the one hand, FDI from places such as Hong Kong accounts for a sizable percentage. On the other hand, China's FDI inflows, particularly those from Hong Kong, include capital backflow. Furthermore, China not just imports FDI but also actively exports capital outside. However, China contributing to a very mere portion of worldwide FDI. China's FDI has been expanding quickly and is centered on energy and raw resources that sustain China's economic growth. That's all for today's video, and thanks for watching it. If you like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to share your thoughts and valuable feedback with us in the comment section below. And while you're here, click to watch one of these 2 videos that are appearing on your screen. I will see you there. Take care and stay tuned.